We are the people, and this is our podcast. I wrote a jingle because of Kirk, man. There was a battle between the smug man and the one true smuggy. Smuggy did stand up. Wish he had pants, cause now I'm feeling cut. We are the people, and this is our podcast.
Record. Here we are.
Hey, this is fun. Oh, it's being recorded. Gotta accept getting recorded.
Forgot to give us the old countdown. 3, 2, 1. We're live.
Defense ready. Okay, well, have had a little bit of a recess here in the past few weeks. I'm looking at you. I'm looking at my kitchen background before.
I'm looking at me, looking at you, looking at me, looking at you.
I know, you know, I know, I know, you know, I know. Okay, we're already off the rails as it's classic tradition. So we've been Euro. We're Euro now. Both of us are Euro. The next hour and a half we'll be discussing our trips in detail. All the port wine bars, the eateries, the shooting ranges that we went to, the castles, whatnot. So if you want to go ahead and skip ahead to the 2-hour mark, that's when the actual fantasy football is being discussed.
Golden Nuggets and our new segment.
Oh yeah, we have a brand new segment. You're gonna want to stick around for it.
Yeah.
It's highly prepared and pretty cutting edge.
First of its kind. Definitely
Hey,
first of
take a
its
little
name.
cheers.
Cheers. Yeah.
That's mine.
Just finished my 5-hour commute from Santa Barbara to San Diego. It was a lovely time. I picked up Sones and we had a great time just catching up. Told them a lot about my Euro trip. We talked ladies, life, love, the pursuit of happiness,
Ladies.
the fickle nature of fantasy. We talked about traffic, bad drivers, tragedies. It was a wild ride. We stopped off halfway in Inglewood for a Havana Mania Cuban meal. It was lovely. We thought we were going for a fast casual meal, and instead it was a sit down Cuban diner. Very expensive meal, but so tasty. Gotta love it. Here we
You
are.
want to regale us with your Euro?
Yeah,
Euro trip.
Euro trip 2022. Me and Ashley went to Ireland for a week. First, the main event was the Carrar Lodge in Scotland with our billionaire buddy. But Ashley and I pre-gamed that, gallivanting around Ireland. Turns out we got COVID almost immediately. We didn't know it. We just thought that we were chaining really bad hangovers day after day after day.
Thing.
Yeah, you like are in that blur from traveling across the Atlantic, and then like I was just putting Guinnesses away like only an American really would. And
With no respect.
Taking shots of Jameson, even though again, that's not what anybody but Americans do.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty epic. So yeah, we rented a car. We spent 2 nights in Dublin. Very fun, but everything was way overpriced. We rented a car, drove to the West Coast, a little town called Dingle. It's a cute little fishing town, not a village. It's not a village, it's a town. But super cool thing. There's the Dingle pub, who the son of the owner occasionally works there. He is a 5-time world champion river dancer. And so when he's not like in season or training or competing, he works at his dad's pub. And so we learned this and we were like, we gotta go see if he's in town. Turns out he was, and it was incredible. He was like super sassy. He like, there was a local band performing local Irish music, and then also like randomly Oasis, which was just super funny. Yeah. So he was clearly homies with the band. And so like when he put his mat up there, he had a microphone and he started DJing and just like getting the crowd involved. And he was just like kind of a dick to everybody. There's a bunch of like graybeards in the crowd, like just taking up seats, just waiting to see this world famous river dancer. And so this guy, he gets up on the stage. He's like, all right, we have 3 rules at the Dingle Pub. First rule, you better be buying drinks. If you're sitting in this bar and you don't have, in this pub and you don't have a drink, you get out of here. Like, we don't want you here. Get the fuck out.
Drink while you think.
Yeah.
Drink while you think.
And like all of the like old people like chuckled as they're sitting down, taking up a majority of the pub with nothing in front of them. And then he's like, all right, rule number 2, don't stand in front of the door. And he turns and points, and there's a whole crowd. There's like a dozen people just standing in the hallway, like just inside the door. Because they're all uncomfortable, like the bar is packed, has been since 5 p.m., which is when we got there.
I say, where are you two situated as this these rules
We're sitting at the bar. We got a spot, 2 spots at the bar stools, but like legitimately packed. Like all of the tables are taken by these graybeards. And then like randomly there was some Irish football championship game that was played early in the day where Dingle's team lost. And so like randomly during our bar crawl, we were like being followed by the footballers because they were getting free drinks at every bar in Dingle. And so like we were doing a bar hop and then they were doing a bar. It was pretty funny. Just to be followed around by these belligerent young footballers who actually we could take them 100%. They were all
in soccer.
No, like football, like
actual
like not American football, but like, I don't know, Gaelic football. But like, yeah, they're gangly, unathletic dudes.
Just like us.
Yeah, Black Tide would have taken them down for sure. Anyways, so this dancer is just super sassy. So he's like, I'm not going to start until every one of you fucks gets out of the doorway, because if you're blocking the doorway, that means people that want to drink can't buy drinks. And what do we do at a pub? We sell drinks. So all of you get out of the way, and you, sir, like he just picks one of them out, like, you buy me a drink. And so I was just like vibing with this guy, super fun. And then his like 3rd rule was like, if you watch me, you must tip me. Like, I have a tip jar for cash, and then I have this handy little scanner for credit cards for those of you who don't have any cash. So that was dope. And then he just went on a tear, and it was super fun. He like got the crowd involved. He would have us sing like ole, 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 and then like do it faster and faster and faster, like, and he would like dance to the tune. It was remarkable. So that was the highlight of Dingle. Yeah,
the Dingle dancer.
Then we got over to Scotland. Edinburgh is phenomenal. For anybody that likes Harry Potter, that's where J.K. Rowling got her inspiration for Hogwarts and Diagon Alley. And the graveyard in Edinburgh has multiple like character names, like McGonagall and Voldemort's real name, Tom Riddle. Thomas Riddle's grave is in Edinburgh as well. So that was pretty cool to see. There's a bunch of like Harry Potter tours. The castle is amazing. That's when we found out we had COVID. So we just like did like outdoor walking tours of the castle and of Edinburgh. Then we got to the main castle, Carrar. It's a modern day castle, and that shit was just legit. Like, we were sharing this castle with like 24 rich, snotty, snooty, awful human beings from LA that happened to be friends with our friend as well. So that was like kind of challenging, because they're all just like greedy bastards complaining about this like billionaire experience. And the Weavers were just like happy to be there, you know. We're like just so grateful and like trying not to like cause a ruckus. And just like, first thing we did when we arrived was like hug the chef, you know, and like everybody else is like running and trying to like call dibs on their room. And it was like such a weird fuckery. vibe. But yeah, we shot guns. I took Ashley to the shotgun range, and in her very first shot, she shot a clay pigeon, which was fucking legendary. Yeah, because she's, a little timid, a little scared, not necessarily somebody you want to be shooting a gun. Like, yeah. So that was pretty cool. Great experience for her. And, we had our own private lake that we would go paddling on. The rain was amazing. The weather was amazing. We brought SoCal to Ireland and Scotland. It was just a very recharging vacation. And then, as all of you know, we came back, and then I found out first thing on Wednesday, fresh off of my vacation, boss let me know, hey, just so you know, you're probably going to get laid off here within the month. So am I, so is the whole team, so is like a majority of headquarters staff. So let's start working on that resume together, huh? So that's where I'm at. And basically the next day I hopped in the car with Soames, and now I'm in San Diego. Woo!
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
You'll be just fine.
Yeah, we'll be fine. A layoff never resulted in a truly bad thing for anybody that I know. So
yeah, I've been laid off multiple times.
Yeah.
Money, whatever.
And look where you're at. You're making good money, doing minimal work, and dominating fantasy football, you fuck.
That's right. But we'll get to that later. Okay. Let's talk about Portugal. First of all, let's see. So Chelsea and I spent our week split between two places, Porto, which is in the north, and Lisbon, which is in the south. We did not have great weather. It wasn't like cold, but it rained a lot, especially overnight. There's like thunder and lightning in Porto. But anyway, Porto is famous for all the port wine cellars that are there. And it's pretty cool because there's actually two cities that are split by the Douro River, where on one side is Porto, and on the other side is a place called Gaia, which the first day we were there, I thought they were both the same city, but it's actually two cities separated by this river, which are the second and third most populous cities in the country. There he is. We also did walking tours. We basically walked from food place to port wine place to food place to port wine place the entire time in Porto. We did like a 2.5-hour walking tour in Porto. There's this really sweet tower that they have there. And they have like a law in Porto that you can't build a building taller than this tower. And it's like old ass buildings, right? I'm sure like you like saw in your travels. Europe is a bunch of old ass buildings. So Porto is crazy because they have old buildings, and it's sandwiched between like modern-ish buildings. But Portugal also was like very recently in dictatorship, and so like some of the places are just like super run down, and only semi-recently, like in the last like few decades, they've been getting out of it. So I don't know, it's crazy to be like, oh, here's a super high-end restaurant next to a super high-end winery, next to like a building that's falling apart, next to like this tower from fucking like 1700 or something. So that was interesting. A lot of walking up and down hill because, like I said, it's in a valley. Speaking of Harry Potter, there actually is a Harry Potter related thing in Porto as well. There's a bookstore that when you walk in, J.K. Rowling actually spent 2 years living in Porto while she was writing, and she was inspired by this bookstore. And I'm going to show you a picture, and maybe we'll put this in our. Basically, there is this like staircase.
Love that staircase.
Which is also like an inspiration for some Harry Potter shit. In any case, that was Porto. A lot of wine drinking. Just Chelsea and I walked around a lot. It was a little bit rainy. Everything was super cheap. Did you have that too?
No.
Oh man, everything is like half as expensive in Portugal.
We spent so much money.
We like balled out on some meals and like drank a ton, and it was like ridiculously cheap.
We spent thousands of dollars more than we anticipated, which is a great thing to do right before you get laid off.
He'll be fine. Anyway, then we went to Lisbon and met up with some of Chelsea's coworkers. And as we know from my previous travels with her and her coworkers, is their company will just cover events and meals and lodging if you get a bunch of their pipers, they're called Chili Piper employees together because they're 100% remote. So we met up with like two of her coworkers there, and we're actually en route to their yearly like conference. But then we super balled out with like all these meals, like, and again, it was still super cheap, but just like getting stuff, drinking a ton, same shit. So like doing walking tours of Lisbon. But yeah, I was still just like eating and drinking and staying up like super late. So it was really cool. I felt like a week's time was not enough time because I only spent it in Portugal. And it's like after you're across the Atlantic Ocean, like I wish I would have, I don't know, I wish I would have budgeted it better to have like more time to explore Europe a little bit more. Not that I would miss this upcoming weekend for anything, and I have my other like coaching commitments and whatnot, but it seems silly to travel all that way and only be there for a week. And my travel yesterday was fucking insane. I took a 4-hour flight from Lisbon to Frankfurt, Germany, and then had an hour transfer from that flight to my next flight from Frankfurt to SF, which is like 11 hours. And my first flight got delayed twice. And so then I literally landed and had to sprint through the Frankfurt airport. And I was just telling you a little bit ago how my luggage was just packed. I had my giant black bag packed in a backpack packed. And in the last month, I've been doing nothing but binge drinking. Right? I've been doing like nothing physical. The Padres had their playoff run. So, and like this whole last week, I've just been doing nothing, eating and drinking. So I'm like huffing it through this strange foreign airport, sweating, gasping for breath, having to like stop at these like checkpoints to give people my passport and just be like, thank you. And finally get to the gate and they're like chilled and let me in. Then we wait for like another 15 minutes for other people who had transfers. But like sat in my seat in between these two foreign women. One was like older and one was younger, but I'm just like panting and sweating and like I have like soggy ass. And I'm just like, all right, let's do the 11-hour flight just like this. But made it because earlier in the day I was fucking stressed because I was like, I'm gonna miss my connection. I'm gonna be stuck in Frankfurt, Germany
For who knows
we
how
have
long.
today and this weekend like happening, right? So
Yeah, geez.
but all's well that ends well. I made all my flights, got here, and I'm stoked.
Dude, I want to have like a Stewart-esque rant about like flights. It is such a crapshoot who you get to sit next to and what you have to deal with. It's insane. On the way to Ireland, me and Ashley had to sit in the middle like seats of a 4-seat row. And sitting next to me was this little like Hispanic woman. So I was like juiced, like she's little, she's gonna take up a little space. As soon as she sits down, yeah, she balloons out, very rotund woman, and she's like using my body as like part of her like leverage to like get her like sweatshirt and like all the layers out and fucking gnarly, right? So I'm dealing with that on my side, and then Ashley has this little Irish woman who is like middle, like I would say young professional Irish woman, but she is fucked up. Like she's clearly very sick, clearly also on drugs, and is like dealing with like flight anxiety. And so she's like snotting, coughing, like drugged out, like doesn't really like make sense when we try to talk to her. And then all throughout the whole flight, she's like bending down and like vaping into her purse. Vaping, yeah. And she's not just like, it's not like she's just, straight up, and like blowing it into the aisle too, which is so nuts. That's how we knew she was like fucked up, right? Because she's like not being, she's like trying, but also, yeah. And then like she's using multiple vape pens too. So it's just like, what drugs are you taking? Like I'm only familiar with 2 types of vape options. But yeah, so that was gnarly. And then this woman kept like falling asleep on Ashley's like chest and like lap. And just like
in on them titties.
and yeah, so Ashley's like freaking out about it. And I like, try to do my best
Like,
to be
hey,
a good partner.
hey,
Like, yeah. Wish I had a squirt bottle. But it's like so insane that like your experience can be so terribly affected by these people. Another example, we're flying from Scotland, from Edinburgh to Scotland. No, back. It's a return flight, Scotland to Edinburgh. Who cares? Anyways, it's an hour flight. And the guy behind us is so incredibly sick that he can't breathe because his nose is running so heavily. He's coughing, he's sneezing, he's blowing his nose every like other breath. And we're just like, what the fuck? Who let you on this flight? A, like, B, one thing that I thought would happen after the pandemic is people that were sick would like wear masks out of like courtesy, like clearly, I got a cold. I'm not trying to sneeze on anybody.
How dare you tell them what to do with their body?
Oh my God. And this guy was just like, clearly like fucking so sick, and people are just like, you all right, man? And he's like, yeah, I've felt better, just like, what? Oh, couldn't believe that was like a reality.
Sounds like a cool guy.
Yeah. And then we had a steward person in front of us on the long flight home, where we were at the bar, we drank a Guinness, pre-flight Guinness. And this guy orders 2 shots and 2 beers, and we're on the same flight. And we're just like, he's just like trying to get blitzed and trying to sleep the whole flight, which, awesome, totally for it. He sits right in front of me, and this dude leans his chair back, conks out, and has the most gigantic snore, like moving his whole chair with every breath, like borderline like want to wake this guy up for his own health because his lungs are so overworked from how hard he's having to like inhale to just breathe. It's just crazy, man.
You're talking about the coughing and sneezing and all that stuff. So I was pretty lucky with everyone who I sat next to on all our flights. Didn't really have any negative experiences, but after my like sprint through the Frankfurt airport, I like got down on my seat and I like said I was, like the aftermath of doing something physical, right? Everyone knows like your body's all fucking hot and you're sweating and whatnot. And I'm sandwiched between these 2 women. And then I start coughing. Like I'm like, I couldn't tell you the last time I had any water. And then I start like, I had like a scratch in my throat and I couldn't like stop it. And so now I'm coughing, and it's like an elderly, not like super old, but like someone's mom, right? It's like sitting next to me. She has a mask on. And then I'm doing like the, and I feel like an asshole. And so like, then I put on a mask, and I didn't wear any on the other flights. But like this moment, I was like, I should put a mask on because this moment. And like, this is like, when you sit down, you don't know these people. And she turned out to be like so nice. Like both of them were just so nice the entire flight. But right when I got there, I was like, oh man, I'm like that guy who's giving this poor woman stress, right? Like about just like coughing. And I couldn't be like, and again, she spoke very little English. So I couldn't be like, I swear I'm not sick. I just sprinted through the airport. I'm dehydrated.
I need water.
I need water. I don't have COVID, right? But she spoke no English. So all I'm doing is like coughing up a storm, and she's like elderly with a mask on. Question for you. It's a long ass flight. Basically every opportunity I got, I asked for a glass of red wine. They only ended up being like 3 that I got, and one of them I actually had to like go like search out. I had to like go find the flight attendant. But it was like kind of an overnight flight if you were doing it by the Portugal timeframe or the Germany timeframe.
Mm-hmm.
And so my question to you is, how much wine do you think is acceptable to order from a flight attendant? It was free. I asked the same flight attendant like 3 times. Like, how many is too many times? How many is it before like you're gonna get that side eye? And then how many do you think before it's like, no, sir, you can't have any more wine? And I wasn't like belligerent or anything.
Yeah.
Right? It was just like every opportunity I was like, can I get a cup of water and another cup of red wine?
Yeah. For me, I think it's all about the timing, right? Like 3 within an hour, you're probably gonna get some side eye. But if it's like 4 over the course of 4 hours, No
But
problem.
like, what if it's like after like they turn off all the lights?
Oh,
And, like,
yeah.
like one of them, I was like, where's this call button? So like I took hit the call button and like a little light went on, and I shit you not, within like 15 seconds, the flight attendant was like, "Do you need any help?" And I was like, I have some red wine, please. So after that, I was like, I don't know if I should do that again, just to get another glass of red wine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
But then you go to the back and then they're like, what do you want? This is my space.
That actually was the easiest. So that time I like went to the bathroom and I popped out, and two of them were just like chilling. I was like, "Hey, can I get a glass of red wine?" They like hopped to it. And I was like, "Oh, and one of those waters too." I'm American.
And a
so,
hot pocket too while you're at it.
What else you guys got? Sticking around and then we should move on. Would you like to do an atonement shot because of the Padres' victory over the Dodgers?
Oh,
Because we bet on every single series this year. I've taken many an atonement shot.
yes. Fuck.
Would you like some vodka or some whiskey?
Whiskey, not vodka.
Here, you can do it out of a nice Portugal shot glass. How about that?
Hey, that's fun. I do love a good shot glass.
Oh, we still got some
Some Crown.
draft weekend whiskey. Yeah.
Woo! This will be good. For all of my new followers from Scotland, you can watch me shot taking form. The channel might have new subscribers.
Football podcast.
I was raving about my super successful podcast in America.
Dude, some of these views have over. Some of these videos have over 300 views.
None of the People's Pod ones do. Only the.
Yes, they do.
Oh,
Yeah. We had to shut one of them down last year. Remember? It was blowing up too much.
that was just the Curtis Jingle episode.
No. Whatever. We don't need to go on it. Anyway,
Here is to poor winner and the sad end to a wonderful season by my beloved Dodgers. It's hard to be great, and I hope that your fantasy team meets the same fate.
you don't need to be bitter about it, man. The better team won the season. All right, moving on. Let's get into some good stuff. Okay, so isn't this fun?
Yeah, it's a very cool shot.
So, thing about Portugal is there's blue tiles everywhere, which I think it was said they stole the idea, the concept from India. Blue is a color that does not occur naturally in nature, and so,
except for water and the sky.
not like grown, like
Pigments.
actually like grown things.
Okay.
So because of that, you find blue tiles all over the place in Portugal. It's like a sign of like wealth. They're called like azulejos. So anyway, this shot glass is blue tiles.
That shot glass is fucking me up.
Good.
Oh.
Good. All right. Listener questions. First one is actually not a listener question, but what I thought would be a fun listener question based on one of our topics that we were doing. Also, while we're talking about this, I pulled like a stew every chance I got where I was like hopping into the group meet at like the late hours of my trip. Anyway, The question is, who are the Sacco contenders, and who do you think, Weaver, is the front runner for that trophy?
I currently feel like if my team misses, well, let's see, schedule 1, 2, 3. Okay. So I'm actually out of contention, probably for the consolation bracket.
Unless you lose out.
If I lose out, then I miss on the consolation bracket bye, and then that would be really bad for me. And then I would be, I think, the Sacco favorite. I currently have the least points for. No, that's Bacon.
What's your schedule look like?
Thank goodness. Schedule's looking sketchy.
You play an upstart Adam after a assured L this weekend. And then O'Malley, who's also up and coming.
I probably have
finished with Brad and Bacon, which is nice.
Yeah, that's gonna be good. That's gonna be like for the consolation bracket bye is probably versus Brad. Anyways, if it's not me, then I think it's Bacon as a front runner for the Sacco.
Bacon for the Sacco,
which I hate to say. Sorry,
Buckaroo Bacon. Bacon has the fewest points, 4 out of the bottom 4 teams in the standings right now. although he has the most wins somehow. So I looked at the bottom 4 people and their schedule. Fun fact is that most of them play each other multiple times. So Bacon plays Stu and Bill, who are both in the bottom 4. Bill plays Stu, Bacon, and Brad. Brad plays Stu, Bacon, and Bill. But they're all playing each other. So
Cool.
all of them 4 will decide their own fates through their own matchups.
Them 4. I like how you're just
Them
openly.
4. They're the bottom 4. They're the obvious current bottom 4. So those are the ones.
Let's talk about those
we're
lower,
focused on.
that lower tier of
Bacon has to play Scott, who has a great record right now, just by playing 9 players frequently.
God, Scott's the worst.
Bill plays O'Malley, and both Brad and Stu have to play Scott. So, I don't want to agree with you. I'm going to take Stu as the Sacco. That's what I'm.
Woo! Them's fighting words.
I think he's probably assured that bracket, and anything can happen when you're there.
Remondre me. Team full of alphas. They're actually betas dressed up as alphas for Halloween.
Yes. Yeah, exactly right. Finally, he's got a quarterback with some promise. But you know what? We don't want to get into that golden nugget right now. Okay, we have to move on to the next question.
Why is it a fool's choice?
So I wanted to pose to you. There's been a lot of team name changes in the last few weeks since we did this.
Yeah.
Do you like any? Do you hate any? Are you mad about any?
God, I have to toot my own horn here. I love Thomas the Tank Engine.
He's not even on your team anymore.
He's not even on my team anymore as of today. Yeah, I should probably just switch him back into my IR spot. I love my team name so much. I think it's the most clever name that I've ever come up with in my entire fantasy career. So it's hard for me to choose anybody else. Etienne Good in the neighborhood.
What about Don't Stop Belevion?
I mean, that was really great too, but this is that. I mean, that was just like bare bones. What you see is what you get. Thomas the Tank Engine has layers to it. It's like an ogre, man. Anyways, Etienne Good in the neighborhood. It's phenomenal. Phenomenal work there. And Remondre me. You had to remind me what
This is how you remind me.
I couldn't get past that song because he just keeps changing out Remondre with different song lyrics.
Yeah.
But I loved Coco.
Do you Remondre? The 21st night of September.
Woo!
Put that on the playlist. Coco is great. I agree.
Yeah. So I mean, I choose my own team name. I'm so proud of it. It's got layers, man.
I like I'm back in the stackle again. That one has layers too, because Dak is back, the stack is back, the Dak CD Land stack is back.
Yeah, that's a good one. But Adam, we expect greatness out of Adam. Nobody expects greatness out of my team name. So I think that's why mine is also better.
Okay.
It's like if you had remember when you had a really good team name and everybody's so proud of you and you got all this credit from the whole league
many times.
And then it turned out to be Adam's team name.
That was actually a really fun inside knowledge between him and I.
Yeah.
Just giggling.
I came up with this one all on my own.
Well, good for you. He's not on your team anymore. So irrelevant, erroneous on all counts. All right, now we actually have some listener questions. Stu asks, if one of us were to win either the championship or Sacco trophies, how and what would we take as our drinks? Adam is doing a great job shotgunning in many different ways with the trophy.
Yeah, I love that.
You were taking shots out of the Sacco and it was your thing. Stu was doing blowjob shots. Can't remember the last time I've seen O'Malley do anything with the trophy, although it's recently come into his possession, but he had it for at least 1 week.
Yeah, O'Malley is quite possibly the worst champion we've ever had. He's not lording it over us.
Yeah, what the hell?
He's not taking shots out of it.
Yeah, what the hell?
Not even protein.
Yeah, what the hell?
What the hell? He's not snorting anything off of the trophy.
That guy's got a tiny dick to snort off of.
Hey. What? Anyways,
what else would you
he's
snort
just a
off of?
silent winner. Like, that's so boring. Come on, O'Malley, be better.
You can peer pressure and then do something this. Oh, he won't have the trophy with him because I think it's surprising.
Or will he? That'd be pretty epic.
That would be epic. There's no way.
I took shots of Fireball out of my toilet bowl shot, so I'd probably go back to the Fireball train, bud and a ball every football Sunday. Easy. I'm not a classy lady.
Yeah, I'm not sure what I would do. If I had the championship trophy, maybe I would like wake up with it next to me. Little spooning action going on. Maybe serve it like a little breakfast in bed.
Little cup of tea. Just film it like at the table with you with like scrambled eggs and bacon and
paper out and
cup of coffee. Little Sudoku puzzle, the crossword puzzle.
I don't know what I would do with the Sacco. Adams really revolutionized it with the shotgunning. I'd have to like give it some serious thought as to what my fun little thing would do. Would be maybe I'd throw some like pumpkin cream liqueur in there or something.
Oh my god.
Tangent to this question, Stu asks, should we change the Sacco Bowl to the Buckaroo Bowl?
Whoa, I propose that.
Not according to this listener.
Oh my god.
But what are your thoughts on
proof? I proposed it, so I'm for it.
This is the first I'm hearing your opinion of this.
So my god, I'll fucking kill you.
I'll kill you. I do not like that idea. I think a Buckaroo Bowl there can be many Buckaroo Bowls throughout the season. We're all Buckaroos. I think Buckaroo Bowls are usually when people they got two shitty teams playing against each other in the regular season. It happens all the time.
I don't think they have to be two shitty teams. I think it's just two teams that are performing shittily, which, can happen to one of the greatest teams in baseball history.
Hey, okay, well, why do you think it should be the Buckaroo Bowl? Because then we couldn't call anything else the Buckaroo Bowl.
Well, I agree. And then we'll come up with another term because we have so many clever people in our league. I think the Buckaroo Bowl is unique to our league.
Okay.
Sacco, like every single league has a Sacco. And so like, obviously it's kind of cool to be able to like compare like, oh, who's the Sacco in your league? What's the Sacco punishment? So like for cross league conversations, having it remain the Sacco is fine, but I don't care about any other league. Our league is the one true league to rule them all. And in our league, we have one true Buckaroo. There's a lot of Buckaroos, but there's only one true Buckaroo. And how does that one true Buckaroo get crowned? In the Buckaroo Bowl. I'm for it.
I do like the idea to differentiate us from other lesser leagues.
Yeah, fuck them leagues.
What if we called it the O'Malley?
He's
won it 3 times out of 10 years.
He's also won the championship trophy.
He's got a lot of hardware. That's true.
He's got a lot of hardware.
2 under his belt back to back.
Yeah, Adam's coming for the record book.
We'll have to propose this the next draft weekend to officially change the Sacco to the Buckaroo Bowl. We got to put it on the agenda.
I don't think we have to wait till next season. I think we can just
all changes had to be done before the season.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, Buckaroo Bowl is for sure the move. I'm weighing.
Thank you for the question, listener Good. Master Good. All right. We got everyone's favorite segment.
Yes.
We got some action that's happened in the last few weeks, gentlemen. So let's revisit. I do want to do a few things. So first of which, I found something pretty neat. So since we did this, and there was a flurry of trades that happened, that was about 3 weeks ago. We have not done a podcast since then. Since then, there are 2 teams that were involved in any of these trades that have gone undefeated. 2 teams. Can you guess without looking at any other resource? Who do you think those 2 teams are?
Stack in the stackle again.
Correct.
And maybe Cuck Me Black?
No, me, obviously.
Ah!
But everyone else sucks. But in any case, I found it even more interesting. Well, 1, Adam's turnaround has been amazing. But 2, everyone else who is listed as a trade before these new ones that happened in the last 24 hours has a losing record in the last 3 weeks. Everyone is 1 and 2 or worse.
How?
Isn't that fun? That's a fun fact.
That is a fun.
But anyway, we got some more trades to talk about. So without further ado, we got Colin over here. He picked up a wide receiver with a lot of promise. The Detroit Lions named Josh Reynolds. We got Bill over here with a running back that is stuck in a committee, and he just acquired Mr. Carter. He was a Jet boy, okay? And so Colin here sent Josh Reynolds all the way to formerly Blood Diamond. Actually, still Diamond, actually.
I'll do some.
I don't think he is.
Do some math right
We got
now.
a new platinum member, though. I'll tell you that. This guy. In any case, Henderdog goes to Gall. Reynolds goes to Bill. Basically, about 12 hours after this happens, it found out that Cam Akers in the doghouse. Henderdog becomes a lead back. The Rams can't run for shit, though, so it really doesn't matter. But Colin was, experienced a little FOMO, no trades. Bill, for whatever reason, wanted to get Josh Reynolds, who I'm unsure if he has actually played him yet. I don't think so. But that was a trade. And then after that, we had a fun one. We have Max, Emperor Palpatine, Max Palpatine, Emperor Dunn. I don't know. We'll workshop those ones. Anyway, he sends waiver wire fodder Allen Robinson over to Yadam for Mr. Algiers. Now, Mr. Algiers, unsure why Max had interest in him. I didn't do a huge deep dive, but what I can tell you is that Cordarrelle the Bear Patterson is about to come back off an injury, and that Huntley and Algiers were splitting time before that. I know Adam would need some wide receivers because much like half of the league, he's barren in that position, like my co-host. And so he was trying to get some help. Therefore, A-Rob, who was on the waiver wire. I see. I know you're
just catching strays over here.
I'm playing you this week, man. Like, get fucked. Okay, and then let's see the last trade we had. Oh yeah, we got Evan also trying to get on the board. I think that's actually why he really wanted to do this trade. Sends another waiver wire pick of El Stuarto for Mr. Likely. Now, it actually makes sense for both teams. Although if I was Stu, I might have just held on to Likely. Stu has Mr. Waller. Waller cannot play. He's a Padres fan, not a tight end. That was a pretty funny one. Whereas Evan has Mandrews, who, although he is a beast, is constantly questionable and has missed some time. So Evan shores up his tight end ranks with Mr. Likely. Stu gets a tight end that had 10 targets last week and will probably play for Waller this week. And those are our updated trades. And fun fact, whereas if we're talking about a winner in all of this, so far it's been Yadam, because he is 3-0 since this board. He's actually 4-0 in his last 4 games, and he's really turned his season around. Any thoughts on those trades that we just briefly discussed?
Yeah, I love trades because so many of them have been just like washes, like nobody cares. Like there was a bunch of hoopla about your Henderdog versus Josh Reynolds trade.
He did score a touchdown immediately after that.
I mean, the implication was crazy. But yeah, that's wild. It's all wild. This is the year of the trade. And yeah.
Year 10, the year of the trade.
Year 10.
Okay. Cool. Well, oh my God, it's time. Should we re-up on our drinks? It's the new segment.
Oh, baby, Lord Almighty.
Very exciting.
Everybody, please
Refresh
sit
your
down,
drinks.
refresh your drinks, put your seatbelts on, fasten your seatbelts. Keep your arms and legs inside at all times during the course of this segment because you are in for a wild ride.
I like your little.
You are. Watch me.
That's been too long. Too long. I'm getting hot.
It's hot in here.
Getting hot.
Getting hot in here. So
All
hot.
right.
Fuck this shirt.
Okay. Well, we cannot abandon our golden nuggets, so we'll continue to do golden nuggets. But for each matchup, we're also going to give a
Fool's
fool's
choice.
choice, a choice that you made that was foolish that led to your demise in that week.
Stupid idiots. I'm sorry, that was too far.
Obviously, if you lose, you're stupid. Okay, so first one. Well, actually, why don't you pick?
You drive us here, and then we'll talk through it on the same screen.
Well, shouldn't we? Wait, how are we gonna?
All right, fine. We're gonna go to my matchup. Thomas the Tank Engine versus the Midseason Shuffle. Woo, woo, woo. Starting off with my team. What are some golden nuggets from my team, Gall?
You sure you don't want to talk about your team after you said that you had the best name change?
Yeah.
All right, you want a
nugget.
golden nugget?
I want a golden nugget, baby.
Oh, this is actually really funny. It's like a backhanded golden nugget. No, this is a fool's choice, actually. I'm gonna start with the fool's choice. I was gonna say your golden nugget was playing Naheem Hines, who scored. But fool's choice for dropping him. He's gonna have some great opportunity in that offense. Zach Moss is traded away. Hines is the pass catching back. You dropped him. That was a fool's choice.
Oh my God. Yeah. Dude, so talking to like just the unfortunate timeline of events, right? This morning, Keenan Allen's blurb says his hamstring injury regressed, got worse over the bye week. Sick. I used my third waiver wire pickup on Marquise Goodwin, who now is
Questionable.
shockingly not practicing this week out of nowhere.
I think you're gonna have an incomplete lineup.
I think I'm going to have an incomplete lineup as well. So I now have two wide receivers that are not, they're very questionable. Michael Thomas, very questionable. So I'm kind of hoping that he might play this week. And here I am looking at Carter, the Chargers wide receiver that's not Palmer. And I'm thinking to myself, man, if Keenan's out, this is his replacement, and I need another receiver because I'm hurting, fam. And so if I had just waited 2 more hours, then I would have got the Michael Thomas news, and then I could have just dropped Michael Thomas. But instead, I was like, very scary. Everybody's talking about how everybody needs receivers. And so I had to drop the only player that I felt like I could. I don't want to drop Njoku because when he finally gets healthy again, he's going to be great. I'm not going to drop Jamar Chase, obvious reasons. I already dropped Wussel.
Rip.
Let's see. Yeah, I'm not going to drop Deontay Johnson just because. Yeah, so it's just bad vibes all around. Did I want to drop Naeem Hines? No. Do I think the opportunity is there? Yes.
Well, that was your combined golden nugget and fool's choice.
Oh,
Naheem Hines.
yeah.
Moving on.
One more golden nugget for my team is that Geno Smith has been worth the investment-ish. Yeah, you're right. It's not.
This is the week that you got him, right? Or is it this one? Did you get that 26 points out of him? Or did you
Player
not?
history. I don't think so. I added him on October 12th.
Okay, so you got 12.6, 13.1, 19.08.
Yeah.
That last one is fine. Those other two, I don't know about that. How much did you spend?
He has
Did you spend
outscored
like 35?
18, I believe.
That's not
Yeah.
so bad.
But he's outscored Wussel in every single week. So that's cool.
However, you are 1-2 in your past
I'm
3.
dying. I am wiltering away.
All right, let's see what else we got going on here. Golden Nugget and Fool's Choice. Why don't you do Scotty No?
Oh my gosh. Scotty.
In my matchup.
no. Yeah, how fun. Let's see. Golden nugget for, wow, that's so fun. Fool's choice is not starting. Wow. What? That's so fun. Jamal Williams over DeAndre Swift. That's tough. Fool's choice there. Nobody would have started Jamal Williams over DeAndre Swift. And it cost you 10 points. Wouldn't have mattered. Your golden nugget, Joe Burrow is heating up. Damian Pierce is like the new bell cow he's like one of the few bell cows of the league. That's wonderful.
Great game.
Kenneth Walker as well. Like your running back core is now super elite, and you should probably try to move one of them for a better receiver. Yeah, that's what I would do if I was you.
What was his fool's choice?
His fool's choice was starting DeAndre Swift over Jamal Williams.
Would you have done differently?
No, yeah. I mean, it didn't matter. You couldn't have beaten the stupid ass smuggy, chubby. Even if you made all the right choices. Starting Devontae Parker, who put up a goose egg over DK Metcalf, who was super injured and then randomly came back.
Parker got injured like on the first drive. It was tough.
That's super tough. That's fantasy football for you.
That's the way it goes. That happened to me multiple times last year, I remember. Donovan Peoples-Jones. Yeah. All right.
Oh, yeah? That's the guy you're going to complain about effing you?
He did last year, yeah.
Donovan Peoples-Jones.
He did. I picked him up and played him 0 points. I also did with DJ Dallas, which Brad loves that story. I was watching with Brad and one of his homies, and it got to the point in the game where I was like, I'm just stoked if he's in the huddle. Like, if he's like on the field, that's a win. Then he was like, water boy. He was like a dapping up guy. Don't dap that guy up. Why don't you do something? Be the guy getting dapped up.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's in the past. Right now we're doing Golden Nuggets / Fool's Choice TM.
Fool's Choice for this week for Scott's team is starting Brandon Cooks, despite.
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. He still has the Bush and the hand lead right now.
We can call this out multiple times. Starting an inactive player. Son of a bitch. And he still is going to find success. I feel like that is the secret. Did you watch everything?
No, I did not.
Everywhere all at once? Fuck.
I know.
So perfect, right?
I tried to watch Bullet Train. Couldn't find it. I watched Jurassic Park Dominion.
Entertaining, but terrible story.
Yeah, it was bad plot. And then I watched like 3/4 of The Hobbit.
Also terrible.
Next matchup, we have the Tasmanian Devil versus Rainbow Buffalo Eggplant. Okay, like aside, what is he going for here? Gay Buffalo? Al Robinson actually had what?
I've tried so hard to understand these emojis, and I thought it was Gay Buffalo, but I just don't know what it is. But yeah,
Gabe Davis, Gabe Davis, who's on Buffalo and has he's packing.
He's got a unit. Yo, the golden nugget from Max. Kamara is blowing up. You love to see that. The fool's choice was trading for Devontae Adams because he has been hot garbage. Well, maybe not since you acquired him, but like, how in the hell do you sign Devontae Adams and then get him one reception in a game when you're losing?
Yeah, did you watch any of this game?
No.
Yeah. We were super Euro. I was sucking down wine and espresso,
sucking down fatties with
Euro
COVID.
Buckfest 2022.
Looking at castles.
No regrets. Anyway,
shooting cannons.
My poor Josh Jacobs also had a poor game.
My poor Josh Jacobs. Me.
Okay, so his fool's choice is the Devontae Adams trade, and his golden nugget is the Alvin Kamara pick, which we've been plotting all year. He's had a slow start, but now he's He's the guy.
Specifically, his fool's choice for this matchup was starting Sam Ehlinger over Marcus Mariota.
Yeah, I thought that was weird.
Would have got the W.
I thought that was a weird choice, a fool's choice.
Somehow this unnamed
Trademark.
quarterback is going to do better than Matt Ryan with the same weapons and O-line that's clearly
He was against the Commandos, so maybe
the vaunted Commandos
Max
defense.
was just like these fucking Commandos.
Yeah. Mariota versus Brian Burns and friends.
Yeah, that one. Well, whatever. Sometimes you make choices. Like my only loss because I benched Josh Jacobs and he scored 32 points.
Yeah, that was a fool's choice.
That was, but you know what? Back then it was just a choice. Next matchup, we got Eating Good in the Neighborhood versus Ramondre Me. All right, so let's see. Ooh, well, Gold Nugget is Mr. Brown from Philadelphia is the man. 3 touchdowns, 156 yards on 6 targets last week is amazing. And even tonight, scored a touchdown again. He's an alpha. He's an alpha dressed as an alpha. Also, the Sun God is back and playing 10 targets too. So like Stu's got to be feeling good about the Browns. The Browns are back in town.
The Browns are back in town.
Fool's choice.
Obviously starting Rashad Bateman over
Well, it was like
Donovan Peoples-Jones. That's
let's see. I'm gonna tweak. He tweaked his foot. You can't plan on a foot tweak.
you can't plan on a
Right.
It's
That
true.
sucks. And like Donovan Peoples-Jones, seeing consistent targets. I'm sure he'll find his way back into his lineup very soon.
What did you say his Golden Nuggets were? Have you talked about
The
Ramondre?
Browns.
Just
the
the
Browns.
Browns. The Browns are back. Yeah. You can't do a Golden Nugget without talking about how Ramondre is just
I feel like we're always talking about Ramondre. We
taking
were talking
over.
about him the last podcast
I
we were
know.
talking about.
This is the Ramondre that I drafted last year. Damn it. I'm always peaking early.
What's that fool's choice you see here?
That's
I
fool's-
guess starting the New Orleans tight end is not great. I can see where the allure is getting 6 and 5 targets back-to-back weeks before you played him, Mr. Stu. Waller has been such a thorn in his side.
Yep.
A fool's choice of a draft pick, if you will.
Yep.
You draft Darren Waller on draft day, you're feeling good. You got one of the top 3 tight ends. And to this point, he has only played in 4 games. He hasn't played in a month. And he's topped out at 14 points.
You know, a fool's choice he didn't make was starting the wrong QB. He started Tom Brady, 17 points.
Wouldn't that be a golden nugget then?
It would qualify as both. Yes.
The
yes.
anti-fool's choice?
Golden Nugget of your 3 rostered garbage QBs.
Golden nugget TM, fool's choice TM, anti-fool's choice TM.
You chose the correct one. Moving on.
That's right. Okay, next matchup. Let's see. We see if we can get in the neighborhood. What do we got now? Oh,
we got the bone saw is ready.
I really liked how Evan took no humor in Brad saying you just got cut in the group meeting.
Hated it. I'm not sure he quite understood it, maybe.
I mean, being a cuckold is when you watch your partner be fucked by somebody else. So I could see where offense can be taken.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there. What we're doing is golden nugget and fool's choice. So what do you think for Mr. Evans' team? I got a golden nugget. What do you think? Shut the fuck up. Duvernay now, after coming off a great week.
He's an alpha.
He's the alpha. He's an alpha. He was a beta dressed as an alpha, and now he's an alpha dressed as an alpha. So Evan had a great pickup early in the season to get Duvernay, and now he's going to be getting those targets. Evan is heavily reliant on that Baltimore offense, as am I. So we are simpatico.
Simpatico.
All right, before what do you get?
Let's see. Fool's choice probably was drafting 2 Jaguars from the get-go.
Oh,
He had a lot of early season success with Kirk and James Robinson, who is now a Jet. Somehow his situation got worse. Yeah, starting Van Jefferson
that's
straight off the IR over. I mean, he had no
anybody.
AJ Dillon, who has been abysmal. Another fool's choice drafting that guy, which, that's with the benefit of hindsight. There was so much hype about AJ Dillon. So it's not truly a fool's choice. But yeah, Debo being hurt really sucks for your team. Christian McCaffrey getting traded.
Is he still hurt?
Yes.
Oh, it's on the bye. Okay.
Bye week. But yeah, the golden nugget for your team.
McCaffrey, though.
CMC on the Niners is finally being unleashed, which is huge for us on multiple layers. Yes. In fantasy and as fans. That's it.
Next and final matchup that we're doing in Golden Nugget / Fool's Choice. The Fool's Choice.
Hurts the Goater.
And that Fool's Choice is going to be Hurst Dakota for 3 TDs. Looks like Bill will be sweeping his walk if he hasn't already very soon. That's because he's got a kicker with 0 points. It's funny because we were saying how Carlson was like his best player for a while, and he puts up a goose egg. But that's not your Fool's Choice.
His
Your
fool's choice.
is sitting Foreman of the Panthers.
My
Who
God.
went absolutely ape shit
Bonkers.
playing
How dare
Michael
you?
Carter against the Patriots.
How dare you not play Deontay Foreman over Jonathan
Gus-
Taylor
Gus
Thomas?
Edward. No, that one obviously playing JTT.
That's the fool's choice.
No,
That's what he
a
did wrong.
Fool's choice is an obvious bad choice. And that obvious bad choice is playing Gus Edwards against the Tampa Bay defense or Michael Carter against the New England defense. That one's probably not so bad. But against the Tampa Bay defense, those guys fucking destroy the run. Foreman was coming off a week where he saw 15 carries for 118 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's not great to not play Foreman on a week where Hubbard was not playing.
Chuba.
But as I'm sure Bill will say, we are not the fantasy sheriffs.
Yes. And some golden nuggets for your team. You have Josh Palmer coming back for the Chargers without Mike Williams or Keenan. I think that this kid is going to feast. Deontay Foreman is clearly crushing it. So you're adding some depth to your team, which is pretty awesome. And Goddard and Hurts, I mean, let's talk about a stack, shall we?
I know. Yeah. Watching tonight's game. That's a stack.
That's a stack. So Bill's team is
in a stack.
Bill's team is sneaky good again.
It's choosing a stack now.
Platinum Bill. Platinum Bill is on his way up.
All right. Well, that is this week's brand new original addition to Golden Nuggets, Fool's Choice. So I hope we left you with a glimmer of hope while also feeling bad about your decision.
We build you up and we tear you back down.
That's the mark of a true friend, is being brutally honest. And with that,
as if you didn't already know how you fucked up, we just made sure that everybody else knew how you fucked up.
And for those of you who won, good for you.
Yeah, congrats, stupid.
Congrats for all of you winners.
Hate.
Half of you are winners, half of you are not winners. And that will happen this week, and we'll segue right into this week's matchups.
Woohoo!
Okay. Let's start with performance enhancing drugs with Dak in the stackle again. Okay, how about we do this one? These are our current lineups. I chose Scott to win. I chose Scott to win today, hours before Thursday Night Football. while Brandon Cooks still in his lineup, Devontae Parker still in his lineup, Denver defense on a bye, still in his lineup. All those things being true, Scott still had the Bush lead, which shows the extent of the desperation Adam is on this current week. This week that is his. This weekend that will be his. Stackables on the bye. So when your Stackables on the bye, that's tough. You're getting hit by multiple avenues. Yeah, I picked Scott because although Mostert is now the dog in Miami, and King Henry is obviously the man. Kyle Pitts had a great weekend. It's hard to look past his wide receiver core, none of whom currently have a Bush over 8, and the fact that he's starting Heineke, who has a Bush under 14. Minnesota's defense has been ho-hum. I can see where the thought process is. But even with everything I said about Scott, I imagine Joe Burrow is going to go off against Carolina. Hopkins is hitting his stride. He literally is now wide receiver 1. Scott's patience with him paid off. That was a great pick. We talked about Walker being an alpha, Pierce being an alpha. And I figured that he would fill in this defense on a bye, which will lead to some points.
Bro, Scott's team is nasty right now.
So I chose Scott.
Yeah, I also chose Scott, and that was before even looking at his bench, where he still has Travis Kelce and DK Metcalf and Deion Jackson, who put 23 points up against me when JTT
Dude,
sat
I didn't
out.
even notice that Kelce was on his bench.
Yeah, dude. So like his Bush is currently winning, and he doesn't even have his starters in, and he doesn't even have a defense. Scott might have the highest Bush this week. His team is nasty. He's lucked into some serious starting quality running backs with, I guess he also drafted Rashad Penny, but yeah, Kenneth Walker, Damian Pierce, DeAndre Swift, and Deion Jackson. That's annoying. Oh. And then he's got Hopkins and Cooks and DK Metcalf. Scott is a sneaky sleeper for the championship.
Something's going on with Cooks. They got some bad juju. I don't know what's going to go on.
He has to be traded, and they didn't trade him.
No, I know. So what's going to happen?
And then he tweeted, I read his blurb. He'll be back in the office tomorrow.
What does that mean?
It was a coach's decision. He was benched this week, cool his head, and then he'll be back.
Okay, well, I wonder if he'll be back in Scott's lineup.
Yeah. If not, then I'm sure we'll see MVS or Mecole Hardman or some other
both taking Scott.
Unnamed receiver that's just fucking the worst.
What matchup would you like to look at?
Let's go to remind me of what I really am versus Gabe Bison.
Bison eggplant.
Rainbow Buffalo Plant.
That's fun. Who'd you take? Who you taking?
I took Stewart in this matchup. And the reason I took Stewart is because he has 3 alphas. This is the fool's choice that Stewart made in the very beginning of the season. He thought that he drafted alpha receivers, and he was very wrong. He drafted alpha running backs. He's got Aaron Jones, Ramondre Stevenson, and Dalvin Cook as his running back core. And you know what's crazy is that in the beginning, like after draft weekend, I thought that Max had the greatest running back core. He had Kamara, he had Barkley, and he had Zeke. Well, Barkley and Zeke are on bye this week. And that's why I chose Stu. The running back core is going to be too much to overcome. Kamara is going to put up 25 points, and it's not going to be enough.
I also chose Stu.
Damn it.
Max is missing some of those horses. That is true. I'm kind of down on Justin Herbert. He has not been doing that well.
He's playing with broken ribs, bro.
Yeah, so I'm down with him. I'm down on him. Yeah, I'm down on Herbert. Also, I'm down on Algiers. Talked about who's got his
Algiers.
flex currently.
Yeah, because Huntley's going to score all them points this week.
Actually, what's going to happen is Patterson's going to play, and both of them are going to be benched.
No.
But in any case, even though the stew is still starting,
That's true.
you're looking it up.
I'm
There's
devastated.
no news on Patterson.
Fucking
Just being optimistic. So he's got Zay Jones in his lineup still. He also has put all of his eggs in the Conklin basket. They're playing Buffalo, so that's probably not going to work out. But yeah, the Browns are back. Ramondre is great. And yeah, Dalvin Cook also great.
Stu dropped Jameson Williams and then picked him back up.
Yeah, I was confused about that too.
Maybe we'll learn about that decision.
I also think, Max picked up Deshaun
Great pickup.
today. Yeah, so I wonder if he moves into the flex ahead of Demarcus Robinson. Although Demarcus Robinson had 8 targets last week, which is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a tight one, but I chose to.
Yeah.
All right, let's check out Eating Good in the Neighborhood. Etienne Good in the Neighborhood versus Hurts to Goddard for 3 TDs. I actually chose O'Malley's
Damn it.
for this.
This is
Sounds
such a boring
Weaver
segment.
Also did. It's hard to pick against the stack. I think Bill's got a great team. I didn't think Goddard would go off for 20, but Evans and Hill, I think, are a great 1-2 punch. Palmer, we talked about, is now the wide receiver 1 for the Chargers. So Bill's got a strong team, but I really don't want to choose against the stack. I think Hawkinson is going to do well in Minnesota for O'Malley, and Etienne has ascended to the wide receiver 1, and they are playing the Raiders, who just got bageled last week. So I think another close one, especially now that Bill had a great Thursday night, but I chose him out.
Yeah, Bill's got a wonderful head start. I chose O'Malley for the stack. Tampa Bay versus Matt Stafford is just gonna feast. Tampa Bay defense versus New England. That's an annoying. I didn't realize Bill had New England. Oh man, now that I'm looking at this in like much more detail, I would love to, not knowing that the 40-pointer stack.
Yeah, but O'Malley has Myers going here. He's doing things.
Jacoby is quietly
Yeah.
I think he's WR 13 or something ridiculous.
Should we check it out? Oh,
Do some
podcast, man.
Podcast math real quick.
Yeah, we're gonna do.
I'll vamp. Jonathan Taylor might be out for this week. He hasn't practiced at
also
all.
I didn't.
It's huge. And Gus Edwards is also questionable. So Bill might be starting Hilliard or Samaje Perine because Gus Edwards is questionable for Monday Night Football, and that's just sus. So we might see actually Michael Carter starting and then Alec Pierce going in the flex. And that, I think, is what I saw when I chose O'Malley.
Myers is not in the top 25 receivers.
Wow. That makes sense because he missed multiple weeks. But if you take those weeks out, I'm sure he would be. Because he's doing well.
And there's so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the top 25. That's fun.
That's how you end up in first place,
That's fun. Let's
bitch.
see, 1, 2, 3 in the top 10. God,
Oh,
just fucking
Jamar Chase,
I
you
love this.
beautiful, beautiful
Oh, there he
man.
is.
I miss you.
Anyway, that's not what we're looking at. Okay, so you also took O'Malley.
Yep.
Next matchup. Tasmanian Devil versus Cuck Me Black. Who'd you take?
Damn it.
Don't look at my thing.
I took Cuck Me Black.
This is fun.
Yeah, we're having a great time. Everybody's winning. Now that Michael Thomas is obliterated, Olave is confirmed as the alpha in New Orleans. Tua turns out to be too good for
Nice.
yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but I chose O'Malley. I think that what do I think?
O'Malley's not playing in this matchup.
I chose Brad. I'll drink for that
Good
one.
cheers. It's a red wine, huh? Billy, you'll be taking an Uber very soon.
Yeah,
Get
sorry,
to
Bill.
us.
We are not picking you up tonight. Montgomery, Singletary, running back core. I think Singletary is going to start getting leached. Leached by Himes, my
Least
boy.
from behind, yes.
Leached from Naeem behind you. I don't know. Juju's been doing great. DJ Moore is doing well with PJ Walker at the helm instead of Baker. Instead of quarterbacks that are getting paid way more than PJ Walker. I'm choosing Brad.
I also took Brad. Jew's gonna have a great week. Mix is gonna have a great week. Bacon's getting cooked.
Bacon's getting cut.
The latest person getting cooked.
Join Colin in the cuck bench.
Yeah, I was. I got cut.
You got
First
cut.
you get cooked.
You're the only.
No, Evan just got cooked.
It's true.
Yeah. We got the look at my pick. We got the mid-season shuffle versus the bone slash race. Speaking of someone who recently took an L, who are you picking?
I chose the midseason shuffle.
Hey, me too.
Fuck! We are so.
We're just so
We're gonna get
We're
this-
so in tune.
I'm gonna get this all wrong. Let's see. Why did I think the way that I thought? Ooh, despite the Robbie Anderson situation, and the Chuba Hubbard. God, I feel terrible about this pick already. No.
No.
Yeah, what was I?
T. Higgins is gonna go off as he now is the number one there against the Panthers, who they just love to give up points. Herbert has had back-to-back great weeks, and he'll have another one against Miami, although they're pretty good. I imagine there'll be a lot of passing situations where he'll be involved. And then Murray against Seattle. I think he will also do well.
Yes. I realize now what I missed before, and that is that I hate both of these teams. Yes. Bye weeks really screwed Evan this week.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's missing Latavius Murray, which, how is he still relevant? CMC, Debo, San Francisco defense. Evan is really in on the Niners now, unfortunately for him. But James Robinson versus Buffalo defense, gross. AJ Dillon has been a disappointment. Yuck. Mandrews may not even play.
He's got a likely backup. He's got a backup.
Yeah. Which, that's cool. That's cool.
Mac Hollins, though, in that flex.
Mac Hollins in the flex, which is a receiver that I thought about picking up, but then
after his 25 point.
I saw it.
Oh, no, recently.
Yeah.
I think Carter will have good game.
I just simply did not bid because I thought Marquise Goodwin was the better play, and
He's not going to play. We were just going to have one healthy receiver.
This is why I am.
This is why I'm hot. We're both taking the midseason shuffle.
With.
I also am hoping that all the higher seeds lose at this point, so I can secure that number one.
We're going with the Bush underdog.
All right.
Peculiar how many IR players Peebly is holding on to. It's tough. The answer is three. J.K. Dobbins, Elijah Mitchell, and Marquise Brown.
Game.
You got to get rid of J.K. Dobbins, bro.
Okay, so last but not least, we have People's Podcaster Buckaroo Bowl of sorts.
It's not a Buckaroo Bowl.
This is going to be fun for everybody. We'll all be together this weekend. We'll be having a great time. We'll be sucking down drinks in Ocean Beach. We'll be smacking fives. Everyone will be wearing a football jersey except for me, because I'm throwing on a Padres one. And how do you think this matchup's going to go?
I just want to put a request out to the shadow government. Can I get Naeem Hines back, please? Because
that's not how this works.
I have an empty bench slot, and it just doesn't seem fair.
You could try and trade. Well, if you're desperate, this is the time to
Try to trade.
Try to trade.
I hate you.
But what do you got? Any other option? Weaver's burned all 4 of his moves. That's why he is fucked. He is fucked.
I hope that I pull a Scotty Novum on you and I win with less players than the allowable limit.
I wish I would have countered your moves. I picked up Sonny Michelle to try and block your cock because Eckler has a little blurb saying that he was held out of practice today. Little did I know you couldn't even pick up anybody else. So then I burned one of my moves just to block your cock. But now I'm blocking everyone's hypothetical cock, so that was fine. But really what's going to happen is I'm just going to drop him to play Cordarrelle against you and just, churn and make sure no one can play him this week. But yes, Eckler has also been added to injury report. Let's go through Weaver's team right now.
God.
He's got a healthy quarterback, a healthy Darnell Mooney. He's got Keenan Allen, who's on the wrong side of questionable. Michael Thomas is dead.
Mhm.
He's got Marquise Goodwin, who remained sidelined for Thursday's practice, which is his wide receiver 3. He's got Eckler, who sounds like the Chargers were just being cautious by limiting Eckler in Thursday practice. He's got Tom Brady's son, Cade Otton, who's got a 4.1 Bush. He's got Caleb Huntley, who I think is good. I had him for a few weeks, but he's about to be regulated to 3rd string duty when Patterson comes back.
Regulated to 3rd string.
Regulator, he's got Deontay Johnson on a bye, Kareem Hunt on a bye, Jamar Chase is injured, Njoku's on a bye. Carter will make it into your lineup. I can't actually imagine why he's not there already. Weaver's saving grace could be if they activate Williams, the Rams, that is, from his IR slot, and then he plays Williams as his RB2 in Eckler's place. But Weaver's got no moves. He's got a bunch of guys in his current lineup that might not play. And he's up against the fucking #1 smuggy, chubby. I took myself to win this game, and I don't have to say anything about my team after what I just said about Weaver's team.
I also chose your team. I have 2 players with projected points in double digits, and that just hurts my soul. It's so crazy to me that I drafted 5 receivers and one of them might be playing. Now, it hurts so bad. Fantasy is fickle. It's a fickle mistress. Ugh.
I drafted like 7 receivers. 5 of them are still playing.
I sincerely hope that Nick Folk beats Butker's ass this week.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that one, in all honesty. The Bucker pickup. He's got an enormous bush.
You have been, I will compliment you. You have been making a lot of very good moves. And obviously you've been very lucky with the lack of injuries. Pittman hasn't really panned out the way you saw it, but luckily for you, Cooper has performed better than expectations. But yeah, the Bucker pickup, I didn't even know that he was on the waiver wire and you swooped him up. So I do have to applaud your managerial attention and management, I guess. This season, you've been doing well. You've been doing your best to earn your 7-1 record, though you are not the best smuggy in the league.
Who's more smug than I am?
Well, the real smug man.
The smug man who beat me.
Yes.
He's like Smug Senior.
The original smuggy. You're still a child compared to that smug man.
Is if Brad comes back to win somehow?
That'd be fucking remarkable. Yeah.
He gets in the 6th seed and then has a legendary run.
Yeah.
Well, we're at about an hour and a half right now.
I
We're super stoked to be back. Super stoked for the weekend ahead of us. Football with the bros and just general shenanigans as we celebrate Yadam and his nuptials. I just confirmed my black tux order today. They actually had all my measurements preset from the last time I used black tux. Pretty fun.
Same.
I've definitely added a little bit of girth since then,
Oh yeah.
especially the last month. Chelsea and I were joking about how we have Portugal pouches now, little Portugal pouch.
That's fun. It's very fun.
Any closing thoughts before we see all the bros in like 12 hours?
A Scottish gooch.
Weaver's got I have a Portugal pouch and we've got a Scottish cooch, everybody.
Yeah, that doesn't work.
We got to end on that note. That's
All right.
Scottish sack. That could you get a Scottish sack.
Love you, boys. Peace.
We are the people, and this is our podcast. I wrote a jingle because a cook man, there was a battle between the smug man and the one true smuggy. Smuggy did stand up. Wish you had pants, cause now I'm feeling cut. We are the people, and this is our podcast.